Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of the second reproduction. So, let's jump right back in. The dark green ribbon tying his hair back stood out amongst his dark clothes, seemingly out of place in his mostly black appearance. I heard he got it from the previous Prime Minister. Jin, I know I've said this before, and I don't think I need to say it again, but I'm here to kill that guy, remember? Yes, I remember. I've heard you say it several times now. Then... I'm a lot more observant than I look. If you were someone who had to be killed, you would have died the first day we met. For barely an instant, danger flashed from the depths of his gentle smile. My body froze for a brief moment, but Jin's expression quickly returned to normal, his smile cheerful once again. Anyway, didn't you want to do some ecological research today? Yes, that's my plan. We were enemies, so I had every right to lie to him, but for some reason I couldn't. It had to be his perfect smile, a pure smile without a single flicker of evil. I could still recall Gardis complaining about how unfair it all was, how he wanted me to just be as obedient with him. I see. Well then, have a safe trip. Lord Jin! Just as I was saying goodbye to Jin, the door suddenly burst open with a loud voice cried towards us. I turned to look, startled, and there stood a soldier gasping for breath. What's the matter with you? Aren't you being rude to our guests? My deepest apologies, sir. You seem anxious, however, so I'll assume the information you're bringing is just as important, am I correct? Yes, I've just received a report that Wind Village is being attacked by a champion. Wind Village? The familiar name sent a jolt through both of us. Gardis had taken us to Wind Village about a month ago. It had been a while, but I could still picture the serene, flower-filled landscape of the village. But now... Are the villagers all right? Lezette had got along with the village children, and right now he was most anxious out of all of us. Unable to keep his cool, he pressed the soldier for our answers. Huh? We don't have any details yet, so... The soldier stuttered. He hadn't expected Lezette, a human of all things, to be so concerned about it. Lezette! If I hadn't been here, Lezette might have rushed out to the village there and then. I'm having such a hard time reading, I'm really tired. His teeth dug into his lips, and seeing the blood drip down his mouth made my heart ache. He must have decided to stay here only out of concern for me. Knowing Lezette, he would have wanted to run over to the village right away. But this is the fate of the demon race. There's nothing that we could do about it. I tried repeating that to myself in my head, but a feeling of absolute disgust rose up within me. I felt like throwing up. From a human's perspective, killing demons was common sense. There was nothing wrong with it. I kept trying to tell myself that, to calm myself down, but it just made my body tremble more and more. My brain could accept such reasoning, but my heart couldn't. Do I want to save those villagers? The moment I realized that, my confusion doubled. I came here to kill demons, but now I wanted to save them? How ironic. I opened my mouth. I wanted to say something, anything, but nothing came out. Unable to stand it, I bowed my head instead. Jin glanced at me from the corner of his eye, then turned back to the soldier. From what I remember, there is a self-defense team at Wind Village. Did they help the women and children escape? Unfortunately, the champion brought a large group of skilled fighters with him. They struck before anyone had time to get away. Those words shattered my hesitation in an instant. I'd made my decision. Lezette! Yes! We still need to express our gratitude to the villagers. They may be demons, but we cannot forget another's kindness. Doing so would be an insult to the title of knight. Lady Christina, where are you going? We're going to the Wind Village, Jin, not for Gardis' sake, but to fulfill our own desires. Are you going to stop us? Of course not. I'll leave it to you two. Come on, Lezette! Yes. I left the throne room, adrenaline boiling through my whole body. The evening sky burst into my vision, making me even more restless. This is... My body froze, words failing me. Before me was no longer a beautiful village of flowers, but a mountain of rubble. It was completely different. I even wondered if I'd taken a wrong turn for a few moments. But the board beneath my foot informed me otherwise. Welcome to Wind Village. The Village of Flowers was carved into it. There was no flowers on either side of the road stretching into the village, just blackened wood. When I take a closer look, I could even see a few burnt corpses hidden within. The small stream flowing beside the village was tinted red. There were still chunks of raw meat bobbing up and down in the water. It felt too surreal. It was like I'd stepped into hell. A scene gruesome enough to put battlefields to shame. Yeah! A scream flooded my ears, knocking me out of my stupor. Without wasting a moment, Lezette and I ran straight to the source. Stop! There too! I clicked my tongue in frustration. Another blood-curdling scream, this time from a different direction. Lezette! I'm on it! Lezette knew exactly what I meant and quickly ran down a different road. I took the other fork, looking for the first scream's owner. As I reached the courtyard, the corpse of a young girl rolled into sight. The green grass was stained vermilion, reflecting the sinister radiance of the evening sun. Standing in the center of the square was a man, mercilessly stabbing a blood-stained sword through the chest of another child. The moment I caught his eye, the man gave a vulgar smile and slowly drew his sword out of the child's body. Oh, are you here to kill the demons too, champion? Rage exploded through my chest, but at the same time, a tinge of doubt flooded my mind. Was he doing something wrong? Wasn't I slaughtering half-demons myself only a few months ago? There's nothing wrong with it. They're disgusting creatures whose sheer existence can never be forgiven. Forgiven? By who? Who will forgive them? The pool of blood crawled towards my feet. If their existence was utterly unforgivable, then why was their blood such a vivid red? Why? Hate to break it to you, but all the shit in this village is dead already. You'll have to go somewhere else if you want any merit. Still grinning, the man triumphantly turned away and left. His back showed no sign of remorse, only the raw pleasure of defeating the pure evil. Ugh. I wanted to kill the man, but I also recognized him as a fellow champion. Those conflicting emotions left me struggling for breath. I embraced myself, gripped my clothes, and tried to subdue my beating heart. I opened my eyes wide, letting the tragedy around me sink in. And at that moment, I heard a weak groan come from the mountain of the dead bodies. Without wasting a single second, I rushed over. I could see a woman's body twitching. There. I gently scooped her up in my arms and shook her lightly. Hey, hang in there! Oh, you're that champion from before. You're... As I gazed at the woman's face, I gasped. I knew her. She was the woman who poured me a cup of wine that day. I'm sorry, I couldn't save any of you. My voice trembled, but the woman responded with a smile. a smile unthinkable considering her injuries. It felt sharper than the tip of a knife, as if a wedge had been driven straight through my heart. Nobody would have blamed her for despising me, but her smile never wavered as she whispered softly, gently, "Marina." Huh? That's my name. I'm sure you're the only one left who can still remember it. Marina. Huh? I am Marina, my dear champion. Marina. Marina, that's right. Please don't ever forget my name. Dying without anyone remembering is just too lonely. I won't forget. I'll keep it tucked away in my heart for as long as I live. Thank you. Her smile bloomed like a beautiful flower, yet it sent a deep, pulsing pain through my chest. I couldn't do anything. I could only watch as she slowly closed her eyes. The woman with such a kind voice and a bright smile was now lying in a pool of blood. She was still smiling, but her body would never move again. A champion had passed judgment on her for the sin of being alive. No, that's wrong, Marinas! She had been killed. Mercilessly, brutally, killed as she tried to run away. When I came to that conclusion, I noticed one or two transparent droplets on Marina's pale skin. It took me a few moments to realize that they were my own tears. It was absurd, laughable even. Wasn't I a champion myself? Since when did I have the right to cry for demons? I don't know how long I sat there for. As the mountains changed color in the twilight, I slowly sensed someone standing behind me. I turned around to see who it was and... Are you the one who did this? Huh? I could see Gardis standing before me, but I couldn't process his words. Everything felt so vague and blurry. Gardis walked silently towards me and spoke as if he'd drawn his sword. I'm asking if you're the one who did this. As he grasped hold of my shoulders, his words finally sunk into my head. He was asking if I'd been the one to make that mountain of bodies. I wasn't surprised he came to that conclusion. I'd been expecting a fight, so my sword was drawn and laying beside me. I was the only one alive, and my clothes were covered in blood from holding Marina. I wanted to say no, but what was the difference? What was the difference between me killing them now and me killing them in the past? I've sent countless demons to their graves. I can't ever deny that. But even so, I had to say something to him. However, no matter how desperately I forced myself, only a hoarse whisper came out of my lips. Gardis' face grew distorted. Is it what you call justice, Christina? Justice? I declared that word time and time again, but now it sounded utterly ridiculous. If I went back in time and met my past self, I'd demand her to tell me why this brutal massacre of innocent lives could be called justice, though she'd probably say it was because of the doctrine. Gardis' face went deep red, furious at my inability to say nothing but that word. His eyes narrowed with the fiery wrath, and the evening sun reflected in his dark pupils. I see. Then take your foolish justice to hell. His large hands clasped around my neck and raised me high into the air. He was trying to break my neck instead of suffocating me. Or was he? Sorry. The strength of his grip was astounding, giving me no room to retaliate. Tears flowed down my cheeks, not from the lack of oxygen, but from the sheer agony of it. I wasn't expecting to die like this. My thoughts blurred and faded, my mind sinking into darkness. All that remained in the final corner of my consciousness was the realization that this was it. Princess! Seconds before I lost consciousness, Lizette's cry made me open my eyes. Lizette! Stop it, Gardis! The princess was trying to save them! Gardis realized his strength, and I plummeted to the ground. Lezette immediately rushed to my side and held me, glaring furiously at Gardis. Can't you use that head of yours? The princess would never kill anyone that ruthlessly. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, Christina. It was her. If this was any other day, then Gardis apologizing would be unthinkable. But the fact that he did revealed how much the tragedy had affected him. That's normal, seeing your people you got along with, killed like that. There's no way anyone would keep their cool. Can you stand? Yeah. I tried to stand, but my feet shook dangerously. Gardis immediately held out his hand, trying to support me. But only for a few moments. Suddenly, Gardis got startled for some reason, and turned away with an anguished look on his face. His hand, which held my own only a few seconds ago, was now curled into a fist, and he was glaring at the soot-ridden ground, at nothing in particular. Gardis? I'm sorry. His trembling voice sounded nothing like his usual self. You apologized earlier, so it's okay. I wanted to chase after him, but Lezette grabbed my shoulders and stopped me. We should let him be for a while. I watched his back fade into the distance and felt the weight of his sorrow, his regret, all of the feelings he couldn't express to us. And the darkness of the night soon followed. So tomorrow's the day off in the Demon Kingdom, huh? I should go to sleep. After all of that, oh my god, I'm crying. Why? Sorry, Lezette, just for today. Can you leave me alone for today? Sorry, Lezette, but can you leave me alone for today? Of course. If anything happens, call for me right away. I will, thank you. There wasn't any particular reason why I wanted to be alone. I just felt like going somewhere desolated by myself. I wanted to clear my mind of needless worries. My face probably looked really bad. As I closed my eyes, the image of Gardis standing amongst the ruined Wind Village floated into my mind, his back facing me. As he stood there, lit up by the setting sun, I had found myself lost for words. I couldn't say anything. Even if I did, they'd just be shameless lies. I was no different to the self-proclaimed champions who destroyed the village. When that dejected thought ran through my mind, I suddenly realized something. Did I want to comfort Gardis? I was dumbfounded. Since when did I feel sympathetic towards that bastard? Even though I still had to defeat him, I was worried about Gardis' feelings. That realization made my heart sink. God, the contradiction was ridiculous even to me. But even so, I couldn't get rid of this awkward feeling in my chest. Is this what you call justice? When Gardis had roared those words, I was sure his eyes were glimmering with tears. He was crying in anguish as his rage boiled. Even though a single tear didn't grace his cheeks, I could still tell. My justice. Every single word he'd said had felt like an arrow piercing my chest, one after the other. It still hurt even now. Once upon a time, I would have answered, yes, this is what I call justice, right back at him. Back then, I killed demons without the slightest hesitation, feeling no remorse for them as I cut them down in droves. My chest hurt right now because I was trying to deny all of that. But if I deny my own past, what am I left with? I'm sure you already know the answer to that. said an eerily calm voice at the back of my mind, or at the back of my head. I shook my head, trying to shake the thought away. No! I squeezed my eyes shut and placed my hands on my neck where Gardis had tried to strangle me. I can still feel it. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!